Okay, and now we're actually getting to a really important topic, and this is actual um, ability of Russians to buy food. And ability of Russians to buy food has dropped to like decade minimums. It's bad. It's getting bad, and it's getting even it's getting worse. So, okay, so um, first of all, Rostat, which is a Russian statistical agency, um, they're always manipulating numbers. Um, so you can't just see that, oh, income of Russian people has dropped just like 1%. This is bullshit. This is really bullshit because if you actually count, I don't know like how they exactly manipulate it. I mean, you can change like different products, how they count it. Like in 1 year they counted one type of products or one group of products, and another year they're shifting it. But if we're just tracking the how much food you can buy on a certain amount in a certain year, so for a medium income in 2022 you could buy 850 kilos of potatoes. Now 710 basically. That's a steep drop. That's 15% or so. Is it 20%? It's not 20, but it's about 15%, even a bit more. So Rostat tells you about 1%. In reality, it's at least 15. If we're talking about cabbage, year before you could buy 1280 kilograms. Now it's 560, double of that. Double less, obviously. 2 times less. Um, the same not the same, but yeah, like at least like 10 to 15% drop off about rice, about flour, about spaghettis, about um, about butter. People can only buy 88 kilos um, of ham, basically beef. Sorry, and it's the same as in 2012, 10 years ago. Chicken, carrots, back to 2015. Like a lot of things have gotten really worse, like really bad. Because again, like a drop off of like 15-20% for people who are already at the brink, and there are a lot of people who are barely surviving in Russia right now. That's a lot. 35% said that their situation has gotten really worse. Every fifth is waiting that it's gonna get even worse. Almost 10%, 8% of people are saying that they don't have money even for food. If it's 10%, Russia is like 150 millions, right? 144. Okay, Russia is 144 millions. If it's about 10%, that's almost 8%. That's 12 million people. 12 million people in such a rich country as Russia, with the amount of billionaires is almost like I don't know, probably like nowhere else. And billionaires who have not created amazing services, who have not created profitable businesses, who did not hire shit ton of people inside of Russia. People are always, I see, hating Amazon a lot and Jeff Bezos, for example. But the guy created the most popular website in the world, trading website, like the shop, internet shop, basically. And they employ a shit ton of people inside the United States. Russia has never done anything like that. It doesn't have anything close to Amazon. that employs a lot of people inside Russia. Nothing of that nature. Such a rich country, and all of those money are going into Putin and Putin's mafia, to his bureaucrats, what we call chinovnik. All of those money are being stolen, and 12 million people don't even have money for food. 22% are in a position that they have money for food, but they can't even buy clothes or shoes. 22%, 1/5 of the population of Russia. That's a lot. That's really a lot. And I don't think a lot of people actually understand this in the West and even talk about it. But that's a lot. That's almost 30 million people. Almost 30 million people living like that. That they barely survive. They have enough to eat. They don't have enough for anything else. Just think about it. Almost 30 million people. That's like several countries combined in Europe in terms of population. And it's not going to go better. It's not going to get better anytime soon. Retail sales have dropped 10%, almost 10% in June, after a drop of another 10% in May. That's 20% down just in 2 months. More than 1,000 international companies have left the Russian market, and combined, they were employing 5 million people, about 5 million people. And these 5 million people will be fired basically after a period. There is this grace period of 3 months when the company is leaving. They have to pay their workers, or if the company is firing the workers, they have to pay them for 3 months worth of salary. So, yeah, if the company has left the country in like June, for example, so June, July, August, in September, at the period when kids will go to school, you need to buy for kids as well, equipment, whatever, and it's all quite expensive, to be honest. And yeah, a lot of people will be officially at that point fired without a job at all. This is for all of those people who think that Russian sanctions against Russia do not work. They do work. Oh, they do work. Once again, they will not stop the war because fucking Europe still buys shit ton of oil and gas from Russia. Europe created this problem in terms of because of their reliance on cheap Russian energy. Now they're going to pay for it. Obviously, they are already paying for it due to inflation and whatnot. Most of it is created because of this conflict, or a lot of it is created because of this conflict and because of this uncertainty with supply of energy. There are no fucking free carrots in this world. You have to pay for everything. Sooner or later, you're gonna pay. Now it's time for Europeans to pay for their stupid fucking governments and the situation that they've created. The ableism that they've created. It was 2014 when Crimea was annexed. 2014. What was done? Couple bans on banking system. I think maybe a few people from government are put on the no-go list. That's it. Navalny and his team was telling and trying to pass this giant list of all the corrupt Russian officials who should be banned in Europe back then, 2014, probably even before. Nothing was done for 8 years. Now there is a full-blown fucking war in Europe. Now all those things are being done. Those bureaucrats are being blocked. Those Russian billionaires, oligarchs are being blocked, and their families, which is even more important because it can easily be like, yeah, well, okay, I don't control anything; it's all in my son's name. No, you need to ban all of them, because they're all complicit. But the most of it is just, yeah, Europe is complicit in this shit, and yeah, and it's gonna get even worse for Russian people who, once again, some of them might not even want to live under this regime, but they don't have any fucking other choice. If you are living in a fucking middle of nowhere, if you're living in the middle of nowhere in, let me just, in Tomsk, for example, in Russia, there are not a lot of prospects. There are not a lot of prospects if you're living um, in some little fucking town, Staritz or something like that, or Berezovka. There's just like shit ton of nowhere towns in Russia, in the middle of Russia. And to get out of there and to be able to, I don't know, enter some university in Europe or, yeah, just improve your life, it's so fucking hard, you wouldn't believe it. It's so fucking hard. And now these people are gonna get fucked even more because of their own government, and what it's done. But sanctions are working. They're working really well. They're just destroying the whole Russia. They're not stopping it from, like I said, they're not stopping it from bombing Ukraine and continue to attack Ukraine. They're just destroying the whole Russia, the whole economy, the whole of it. Which is sad if we're talking about individual people, because, yeah, I've been recently aware of just struggles of regular day-to-day lives of a lot of underprivileged, if you can say so, classes of people, and yeah, it's been kind of deeply emotionally affecting me. Once again, if somebody supports Putin, supports this war, and don't want to think for a second about actions and consequences, yeah, fuck them. Even if they're poor, fuck them. You need to be above this mentality, propagandist garbage, and so on and so forth. But still, it's a tragedy what's going to happen in the next years and 5 years and a decade to come. And it all depends even how quick this war is going to end, even. Because the longer it's going to go, the worse it's going to be for Russia and for poor people of Russia. Just once again, just think, almost 30 million people can only buy food and can barely buy any clothes. 30 million. This is so sad. Once again, in a country so rich with all sorts of different natural resources, and all of those resources are in the hands of Putin's mafia. He's created such a fucking system where regular people don't get nothing. It's not in Norway with their national fund. It's not even fucking Arab Emirates with their national fund. None of it. It's Putin's fund, national fund. It's so sad. It's really so sad if you actually go from the level of this nuclear threat and the crazy dictator to the level of just one human being, regular human being, trying to survive somewhere in the middle of fucking nowhere in Russia with a salary of $100 or $200. And now they're even the food, the basic 30 million people can only buy food, and now the food is getting even more expensive by 10%, 15%, 20%, in some cases 40%, while the governors and the fucking bureaucrats who are supposed to serve these people are buying a ton of land, to actually later produce and sell food and make themselves even richer. The servant class, the servant class is now a ruling class in Russia. It's all upside down in this fucking in this fucking part of the world. It's so sad.